Sometimes, when the wind howls across the frozen spine of the Urals, it carries with it strange noises, cries that never seem quite human. The locals say it's just echoes, but their eyes always slide away from the snow-choked pass when they say it. The reports begin like any other tragedy in the wilds. A group of experienced hikers, led by Igor Dyatlov, vanished on the unforgiving slopes in February 1959. 9 young people, all strong, skilled, and used to the cold, never returned from the Ural mountain range. When the rescue teams finally reached their last camp, what they found made even the hardened searchers freeze. At first, though, everything seemed frozen in time. The tent was still where they'd pitched it, half buried beneath a layer of drifted snow, illuminated by a pale, biting sun. Only the tent had been slashed open from the inside. Their boots and gear, everything intended to keep a person alive in that murderous cold, had been abandoned. Tracks led away, barefoot or in thin socks, pressed into powder. The party had fled into the woods with only the clothes they'd been sleeping in. As the rescuers followed the prints, unease thickened. No sign of violence, no evidence of pursuit, just a harried, desperate flight from shelter into doom. Something had driven them past the point where survival mattered. It took weeks to find every body. The first 2, at the edge of the tree line, lay huddled beside a half-burnt pile of branches, naked except for scraps of clothing. Blackened hands suggested they'd tried to climb the fir tree above, branches torn and bark stripped away up high, as if they'd scrambled frantically upward. The next 3 Bediza leader, and 2 others were spaced out as if they'd been crawling back toward camp, faces twisted in frozen confusion. The last 4 were discovered much later, buried deeper in the woods, within a hollow, as if trying to dig into the permafrost to hide. 2 had fractured skulls. Another was missing her tongue, but there was no blood, no sign of struggle. The medical examiner could only say the injuries were akin to being struck by a car, yet with no bruising, as if the force had come from within the bones themselves. A notebook left in the tent offered little help, its final entry ending mid. One of the hikers had written, "It is difficult to imagine," and nothing more. The photographs they'd taken showed laughing faces, frost-tipped hair, and then smeared and dark one final image. A blurred shape, almost man-like, looming between the trees. Whispers started quickly. Some said it was the military, secret mines, or experimental bombs dropped from the sky. Others blamed the Mansi spirits, guardians of the mountain. But anyone who spent nights in true wilderness knows the difference between noise and silence. The searchers heard it. In those woods, the silence was bottomless, dense, pressing against their eardrums until their thoughts grew ragged. It wasn't the kind of quiet you could breathe in. It was the kind that made you want to run, just to hear something, even your own footsteps in the snow. When the lead searcher, Nikolai, was asked about that last evening, he stiffened. "It wasn't just the cold," he'd muttered. "There's a feeling, right at the base of your skull, the kind you get when someone is watching, but you know you're alone. Or you think you are." The trees seemed to move, only if you look away. No birds, no tracks, no sign of life, but those that ran from their own shelter. It's as if the forest itself disagreed with them being there. He remembered waking in the night, heart slamming. The crack of branches sounding too deliberate, too rhythmic, like someone, or something, mimicking human movement. Nikolai and his men would shout, but their voices died, muffled and flat. On the last night before they left, he swore he saw a pale, hunched silhouette at the edge of their campfire, arms too long, mouth yawning as if caught mid. But in the morning, only wind-blown snow, and a single, enormous print that melted, impossibly, before his eyes. Rumors persist. Hikers who dare the Dyatlov Pass still report odd lights flittering in the sky, low static buzzing in their ears, and the sense almost crushing that if you stay too long, something will notice you. Something older than the wind or the cold, waiting for a misstep, hiding just past the reach of firelight. No one has truly explained what happened to those 9 hikers, why they tore from their tent into certain death, or what they saw in their final moments. Perhaps it was madness, the mind breaking in the silent dark. Or perhaps there really is something out there in the snow, something patient, that learned, in that endless white, how to unmake the human mind without ever leaving a trace. The files remain unsolved, and the mountain keeps its secrets, sealed beneath a drift that never thaws. And every so often, as the nights stretch, long and cold, new footprints appear in the snow leading out into the trees, and vanishing before anyone can follow. If you enjoyed this chilling account and want more true stories that keep you up at night, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We dive into the unknown, sharing real-life mysteries and unexplained horrors you won't find anywhere else. Turn on notifications so you never miss an eerie tale waiting just beyond the firelight.